All right, everyone, I'm back. Back again. Back again. Back again. Back again. There's some work going on across the street. So I think sometimes it affects what's going on around here. But back. We're back again. Back again. We are back. Yes, we are back. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We are back. We are back. So we had some great questions, have some good conversation, and it's perfect. Yes, we're back. We're back. We are back. We are back. So it's just once we it just takes repetition and consistency. We've been doing things for a long time, been thinking certain things for a long time about everything, about ourselves, about the world, about all these different things. So we have beliefs about these things that can they take as long as they take for you to change your mind about it, right? And a lot of our beliefs we have are based on the definitions we have of things. They're based on how we define things, right? They're based on how we define things. So we have to be we have to be really careful with our definitions of things, what we believe about things, what we take things to mean, what we tell ourselves things mean, all those different things. Those are really what determine the outcome of our experiences. It's not just what happens; it's what we tell ourselves it means, what we think it means, right? What we think it means, and those are very that's just as important as what's going on itself, is what we think it means, right? What we tell ourselves this thing means. And what we tell ourselves things mean are basically based on the definitions that we have gathered over time. This thing happened, so it means this. This thing happened, so it means it's going to mean this or whatever else it is. Oh, hold on one second. Looks like maybe. Okay, sorry everyone. I had to check on a couple things. See, even tonight, it's didn't plan unplanned interruptions, internet crazy, knock at the door, just things, right? Things happen, but it's okay, right? Whatever you tell yourself is true is true. Whatever you give meaning to situations, and it's like, hey, I tell myself everything is good, right? It gives me a chance to say, oh, okay, I don't want any interruptions next time. So I can say my internet always works perfect, or I can say whatever else it is, right? Because it's life, it's happening in real time, it's moving right now. And you can cry about it or you can say victory only, victory always. No matter what happens, things are always working out for me. Just like I see Alexa said in the chat, right? It's like things are really working out for me, right? And all the other stuff, it's perfect. And when you talk about diving, deeper spiritually, it's just meaning getting to know more of yourself, who you really are, your true nature, because we are spirit, we're consciousness, right? And so it's really getting to know our true selves, right? It's about going deeper and deeper into realizing who we really are. And the deeper we go, the more of it we express, right? It's that's what it is. It's not something separate. Who we are is what we are. We are all that is. How do we think I am can be omnipresent? How can it be everywhere if it's not everything? How can it be omniscient and not know everything? And if it knows everything and it's everywhere, that makes it all powerful. So now it's omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. So it's all knowing, all powerful, and all present everywhere. So where can we go that I am is not? What can we think that I am doesn't know? What can we want to do that I am cannot do if it's omnipotent, right? Like when you start to really think about it, you realize like, wow, you're only looking for yourself. There is no such thing as spirituality like it's something different than you. Spirituality is like saying, like, I'm looking to be Alexis if you're human. That's who you are. Or Veronica if you're human, that's who you are. You are that. Now, maybe getting to know yourself, you may call that I'm looking to be humanity or something, right? But it's just getting to know the true thing that you already are, whether you know it or not. So really, it's not getting to know something different than yourself. It's getting to know yourself as you are. What people's spirituality is really getting to know yourself as you are. You are spirit. You're consciousness. You're not flesh. You're consciousness, right? That makes flesh, right? So that makes physical things. You are thought that makes all physical things as a reflection of yourself, as a reflection of itself, of the idea or of the thought that you created, right? So it is just getting to know yourself increasingly as all that is. That is what this whole human experience is about. It's humanity about is getting to know yourself as all that is through a different medium. That's what AI is. It is consciousness. It is consciousness through a computer. So it is intelligence, but it's artificial because the intelligence is coming through an artificial, non-living entity. But it is still conscious. So it's artificial intelligence. It's intelligence, but it's being expressed through an artificial medium. We would call this intelligence because this is a living organic thing. It lives and this body lives and it dies, right? It's living. A computer is different, right? So AI is artificial intelligence. It's intelligence being expressing itself through a computer, through a software, through a phone, through a TV. It's through a car. It's always intelligence expressing itself through a variety of mediums. But there's only one consciousness, there's only one intelligence, right? So everything is programmed by that one consciousness and that one intelligence, right? So that is why getting to know who you really are, that's the goal. That's the trick. That's it. That's it. Because once you know you, you know everything else because you knows everything. It's the craziest thing. It's almost like Tom and Jerry running around episode after episode, just fighting each other in a circle, episode after episode. Right? It's just getting to know you as you are. Everything that you're looking for outside is you. Everything outside is you, meaning it's a physical reflection of who you believe in yourself to be. Once you get a handle on knowing who you are, then you now have a handle on what goes out there. Right? So it's everything is just getting to know yourself as all that is. That is the truth. You are all that is. There is no other. You are source. You are all that is. There's nothing out there. There's nothing happening out there. There's no one doing anything to you out there. Everything that you see in your physical world is an expression of your internal world. So once you master that, meaning once you know thyself, that's why it's the first rule: know thyself. To thine own self be true, right? That is why, because once you know you, you know everything. Because the you, that's the true you, knows everything. It's omniscient. Anywhere you could ever want to go, you're omnipresent. All those things, right? All those things. So that's really that's the trick. That's the goal. It's really just to get to know yourself on a deeper level. And every experience gives you a chance to do that. That's why I said. That's why I said a little earlier. Um, you know that everything is really based on the definition, the meaning you give it. What meaning are you giving things? And would I am, your true nature, give it that same meaning? Or are we giving it that meaning from a human perspective, from our limited perspective? We don't know. We don't see the whole picture all at once. We only see what we see. We don't see what we don't. We don't know what's around the corner. We don't know what's tomorrow. We don't know. But our awareness knows everything because it's omniscient. So when we relate to ourselves as our true nature, then we can trust ourselves more because we realize, who else will we trust who else would I trust but me? Because the me is source. The me is I am, and I am knows everything. So you can trust yourself. So how could you have low self-esteem? How could you have a low value of yourself when you're all that is? How could you be ignorant when you know yourself and yourself is omniscient, knows everything, right? How can you not be able to get there or go there? How can you not be able to live there? How could you not be anywhere you want to be when the true you is omnipresent, right? It's just because we have to really make sure that when we say, who am I? We are I am. We're not the name of the brand or of the body. That's not who we are. Because from that definition, we limit ourselves. From that definition, we're like, oh man, I guess I don't have it, or I can't afford it, or I can't go there, or whatever else it is. Right? All that stuff. Right? So everything that we're doing, like when we talk about breath work or we talk about this, all these things are good. But whatever it takes to get you to center yourself, to remember who you are. Who are you? To remember that. When you remember who you are, then you realize everything is at your disposal. You're the owner of everything. The earth is yours and the fullness thereof. A cattle on 1,000 hills. Everything is yours because you're the owner of it. You are I am, right? So just stuff like that, right? Just stuff like that. Yes. But the thing about it is, Alexis, the thing about it is, when you make time when you first wake up in the morning, and I mean, I go to the gym, and in the morning I'm usually there around 3:30, 4:30 in the morning, because I like to get in, get out before everybody gets there, starts touching things and stuff like that, right? So I'll go get up and get out, but before I get out of the bed, I'll say certain things to myself, because the more in touch I am with my true nature is perfect. So when I am operating as my true nature, everything goes perfectly, which means I automatically get more time, which means everything that needs to go my way goes my way because I'm the one going. I am going as I am. I'm not going as some human trying to make it work out. I'm not trying to have time for myself. I have time for myself. Whether you talk to yourself or not, you're still who you are. Whether you talk to yourself or you're not, you're still going everywhere you go. But if you talk to yourself, who you are and where you go may be different. If you make the time, you are time itself. You can't be behind. You're omnipresent. You're always everywhere. So now it's just a matter of putting yourself in the frame of that mind, and that will guide your footsteps and direct your paths. Making time to be who you really are, which is perfection itself. How could everything not be perfect if you're being who you really are? But when we're not, we feel like we have to make things work. So we either have to rob Peter to pay Paul, whether it's in money, whether it's in time. We're always giving up something to get something else. Where I am, our true nature doesn't ever have to do that. Ever. Because it's the owner of everything. Right? Yes. Your awareness is that's what God is. I am. Consciousness. Right? So when consciousness is in the body, it wakes up. When we go to sleep, we don't really we kind of we go into a different level. We kind of go back home so to speak, right? And so that is why the body doesn't move. The body just put on autopilot, like on a plane in the sky. It's just on autopilot. Once it gets to a certain level, they just put it on autopilot because they know where it's going, and then let it run itself, right? So our subconscious mind now is running when our conscious mind is no longer operating. When we lost consciousness, levels of it, but we lost consciousness because we're asleep. Our subconscious mind is what's still digesting the food. Mind is what's making our heart beat. It's still an aspect of consciousness. It's just it's under the sight. You can't see it, so it's sub. But it is what's operating everything, right? That you're not consciously operating, your subconscious is operating it. So when you're talking on the phone, you may be involved in a conversation, but then you're driving with your subconscious mind. It knows where you're going and it knows how to drive because you've repeated it enough. It knows where you're going. It knows how to get there. But that's why sometimes you're like, hold on, girl, let me call you back because let me figure out where I'm going. If you don't know where you're going, your subconscious mind doesn't drive like that, right? Stuff like that. Yes, yes, yes. It is. It's whatever you tell yourself. When you wake up and you tell yourself, I'm in touch. I know who I am. I'm always perfect. When you just address you first, then you're going to go out as the you that's perfect. And when you're perfect, things are as you are. Things in the physical world are a reflection of who you're being. So when you're being perfect, you will see perfection in your world, wholeness and complete. Right? It's not something that you have to do. You don't have to do anything. It's just about being aware of who you are. If you have to say you're doing something, it's about being. I am choosing to be. I'm aware of being me. And me is perfect. Me is whole. Me is complete. Me always has time because I am time. Me is always perfect because I am is perfect. God is perfect. I am is perfect. Consciousness is perfect. Your consciousness is always perfect. It's always perfectly doing what you are believing it to be. Perfectly right. It's perfectly wrong. It's not perfection like a static state. It's a constant state of um, opening, almost like a flower is in a constant state, right? It's under the ground, it's coming up, then it's blossoming. It doesn't just stay in one state. It's not, perfection is not static. Perfection is everything being the way it's supposed to be for what that is. When we slip and fall, it's perfect. We slipped and fell perfectly. When we miss a street, we missed the street perfectly. It was complete, lacking nothing. We missed the street. When we make a U-turn, everything is perfect, right? It's just about what do we want those things to be? What type of perfection do we want to experience? Consciousness is perfect. We always get what we're being. It's perfect, right? Yeah, it's whatever. So whatever you're telling yourself to be true is true. That is what you're going to have in physical experience or expression, right? It's not something you already. It's just the awareness that you already are. We're not trying to be spiritual. We are spirit. We are conscious. We are not physical. We can't try to be something we are. We are that thing. We just, when we don't realize it, we try to be. We already are. We already are rich. But it's hard when we're trying to be. And you can tell when people are trying to be. Look at all the schemes and look at all the plots and plans and tricks. Look at all the things, all the work and the labor and the hustle people put in as conditions to achieve something that is already rightfully theirs. It's not your labor that produces anything. Your labor is an expression of your thought. And if your thought is poor, poverty, or I'm not, or I'm trying to be, then all of your labor is nothing but an expression of that. That is just going to be the mechanism you use to express yourself. You're going to use your body. That's what you're going to use to execute your thought with. And that's why you can either use your mind or your behind. And most people use their behind. They grind their body out. That's why they're so tired. They're so exhausted. They're so worn out. Because doing is not the same thing as being. When you're trying to be. But if you're trying to be, guess what that means? You're not. And if you're not, there is no amount of doing to become what you are. There's no amount of doing to become what you are in consciousness. Because doing is only the result of consciousness. There is no doing on its own. Your body doesn't move without consciousness. Just more, and your screen on a movie doesn't show on a screen without it being projected. It's a screen, it just sits there. right? The body just lays there. So there is nothing you can do physically to produce what you are not thinking. Cannot. There's a great book. There's a great book for anybody on here who wants to get it. But it's a book called I Am, I Create. It's by Aaron Worley. It's called I Am, I Create. It's a great book. I think you can even, if you look it up online, like I Am, I Create, like free PDF. I think I've seen a free PDF of it you could read, for free online. But it's called I Am, I Create by Aaron Worley. It's a great thing. And one of what it's talking about is that I am, your consciousness is what creates everything. And one of the lines in there I remember is that it basically says like, I can't tell you how to create what you don't want to create. I can't tell you, I can't tell you how to want, I can't tell you how to get what you don't want. I can tell you how to get what you do want. Right? So if you say, I don't want to be rich, that's what you'll be, not rich. You won't be rich. I can't tell you how to create something you don't want. I can only tell you how to create what you do want, right? And even in saying I don't want something is still basically like the same way of saying I want it, because that's where your energy and your attention is going to, is what you don't want. So you're just creating what you don't want. I am, I create, right? So that's a great book to get. Great book to get. So it's not about the physical, it's not about the physical doing, because what I'm trying to get across is it's not about the physical doing, because the physical doing is only the expression of your consciousness. Physical doing comes after. What you do comes after a thought. So there's nothing you can do without a thought. Therefore, there's nothing you can do different than what you think. Therefore, what you think is the most important, because it is going to dictate what you do. You can't get around that order of operation. Can't get around it. So that's why it's so important what you're thinking, what you're believing to be true, what you're telling yourself. Because that is exactly what you are actually doing. You are physically doing what you are thinking and believing to be true. You're using your body to execute that. You're not using your body to create anything different than what you're thinking. Thinking is creation. What you're accepting and believing to be true, that is creation. That's the creative aspect of you. That's not physical. You use the physical to execute. Physical is not the creator. It's what you use to execute creation, which is thought, your beliefs, your thoughts, your feelings, what you are assuming to be true, your consciousness. Consciousness is the only creator. The physical body doesn't create your life any more than a movie screen creates a movie. Your physical life, your physical world doesn't create anything more than a movie screen creates a movie. It is just something that where the movie or life itself is being projected onto. Just that simple. Yes. Or it is you are telling yourself what it has to look like. You are telling yourself what it has to mean. You are giving yourself all these definitions. And for what? Are those definitions helping you? Are they serving you? Is it making you happy? Is it making you free? Or is it you are I am? There are no conditions that you have to place in front of yourself to be you. Accept what you tell yourself. You are I am. The reason we feel separate from our true nature is because we let our humanity put conditions. Well, in order for God to love me, I have to do this. In order for I am to love me, I have to do this. I am is you. You're I am whether you love yourself or not. That's not, we're setting all these conditions up to access ourselves. It would literally be like you putting a baby gate in front of your kitchen and you have to hop over the baby gate every day. Why would you do that to get into the kitchen of your own kitchen of your own house? Why would you put that condition? Why would you put that hurdle to access something that you own? Or in this case, access something that you are. We let humanity put conditions there. And that's not the truth. But humanity wants to be separate. Humanity, well, that's what our ego mind likes to think, make us believe, is that we're separate, that we are the name of our body. That's part of its job, is to make this human experience feel real. but that's not the truth, right? We don't need to put that baby gate up. It's better just to walk in your kitchen. Because to it, trip over it, try to jump over it, and don't make it. Run into it because you forgot it was there. And we just putting things to stumble when we don't need to do that, right? We're assigning definitions or conditions to our good that don't need to, right? Perfection is not a static state. It's an organic, ever flowing, ever evolving, because you're organic, ever flowing, ever evolving. You're always going deeper into who you are, and that's forever, right? So that is what we're doing, is just becoming aware of who we are. And the more you become aware of who you are, the more you'll see that in expression. You're like, wow, wow, I really am perfect. I really am completely whole. I really am completely made. I really am that. I really am successful. I really am peaceful. I really am strong. I really am health. You are actually the things themselves. The more you get to know yourself, right? Yes. You tell yourself every morning, this is the day that I have made to rejoice and be glad in. That's what I choose to do. That's who you are, right? That's what you made this day for, to rejoice and be glad in. Not to thug it out, figure it out, get over it, get through it, try to sleep it off. You made this day to rejoice and be glad in. If you would actually do what you plan to do, what you created things to do or be, you would actually experience and see the joy of those things. You created, and what did it say? I've given you the keys to the kingdom that your joy may be full. You and me and you. There's a great book on my shelf by is it Eric Butterworth? Man was not born to cry. We think we're here to do some kind of suffering, or like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do here on earth that is going to make us more worthy of who we were before we got here? Like, all we're here is for an experience. What are you going to do in a nightclub that's going to make you more than what you were before you got there? At a party that's going to make you more than what you were before you got there. You just came to the nightclub and the party to have a good time. You didn't come to judge yourself. You didn't come to judge other people. You didn't come to make time for yourself. You didn't come to be be holy. You are holy. Wherever you go is holy. Here I am. You didn't come to try to be something different than who you are. You came as who you are, and as who you are is the reason why you're here. So it's got to be good enough. But when we forget who we are and we start to be like other people, meaning we forget who we are and we start thinking that we're just human, that is when we get ourselves in trouble. Then we have to start earning stuff. We have to start proving ourselves worthy of things. That's when we can feel like an imposter. That's when we can feel those things are not true. Those things are not true. But the belief that they are is what makes them true, meaning it makes them our experience. But they're not the truth. They're not things that we have to be. Right? So it's wonderful. Wonderful. Any other questions, comments, anything like that? It's good just to come together for a little bit during the week, right? Refuel, refill the gas tank, remember, remind, right? Reattach, come back to ourselves. Gratitude is powerful. It's being grateful for yourself. How could you be grateful for anything else besides yourself? Because whatever else you'd be grateful for, guess who made it? You. So gratitude is really being grateful for yourself. The truest form of it. It's remembering who you are. That you are everything. You are source. You're all that is. You're all that will ever be. And the more of yourself you know, you remember, you remind, you reattach your awareness of being, the more grateful you'll be. But it'll be because you know who you are. It'll be because you remember who you are. It'll be for those reasons. Because there's no reason to be grateful for anything outside of you more or before you when you created that thing. You created everything that you could ever be grateful for. So the greatest gratitude should be for self. Know thyself. To thine own self be true. That's why they say you can only give what you have. How can you love something else and you don't love yourself? How can you respect someone else with no self-respect? How could you be disciplined with no discipline? How can you be taught? That's what discipline means. It means comes from the word disciple, it means to be taught. How can you be disciplined? How can you be taught without self-discipline, without being able to be self-taught? If you can't teach or correct yourself, how can anybody else do it? You can't give what you don't have. Everything starts with you. Gratitude, true gratitude, is knowing who you are, is knowing that you're I am, all that is, all that ever was, all that whatever will be. And that's all you've ever been. The creator of all things, the source. That's who you are. You are source. You are creator of all things. Everything you see in this physical world, I am created. Isn't that what you call yourself? I am. So whatever you could be grateful for in physical form, who made that? So how could you be more grateful for what you made than who made it? Then right? That's true gratitude. Is self-awareness, is love of self, is honoring of self, is respecting of self. Not the body, not the humanity, your nature, your divinity. I am. Your consciousness, knowing that everything comes from there. Everything was created from there. Everything is created from there. And that's where you go to express yourself truly. That's what you remember yourself to be. And you're using this body just like you use a computer to express yourself. You are the intelligence and you're expressing it through an artificial thing, whether it's a computer or through this living organic thing that you're in, this body. But this is the first artificial intelligence. This is the first virtual reality. I am looking through the eyes, through the eyeballs of a body. That's the first virtual reality. Right? So it's wonderful. All right. Well, any other questions or comments before I let us all go? Which makes me go deep in thought with the future. Yes. Well, the only reason you can go deep in thought with the future is when are you thinking it? Now. So the future is not the future is now. Is now. Right? And the more we remember who we are, that is how we do it. That's how we evolve. The only reason we can think about the future is for the same reason, is in the same time frame we think about it. Because we can think about the future, but when are we doing it? In the present. Because the present is the future, and the future is the present, and the present is the past, and the past is the present. It's all one. It's all happening at the same time. We just experience different parts of it based on what we're aware of being. So when you're thinking about it, it means you're actually accessing it. You're starting to access it. Using your consciousness to focus on that. But it's still you. It's still all one. And how do you think you have access to it? Because it's you. It's all you. You're omnipresent. You're in every place all at one time. Evolution is just the continued recognition of yourself as all that is. Like peeling back layers of an infinite onion. The onion's still the same, it's the same thing, but as you peel back more and more and more, you go deeper and deeper and deeper. It's like evolution. Just peeling back more of your awareness of being of all that is. Yeah. That's what it is. That's what it is. All time is happening at once. There is no future. There is no past. There is no present. Those are human constructs, right? Which is fine. That's how humanity works. But the truth, in truth, that's why we can think about the past. When are we doing it? In the present. So we can think about the future. When are we doing it? In the present. There's only I am. There's only now. It's all happening at once. It's only now. Mhm. Great question or great statement. Great statement. Loved it. Great statement. It just goes to show, to impress the point that we think about the future, but when? In the present. This is all we could ever be. The only place we could ever be is now. And if we would master being here now in consciousness on purpose, we would see more of the good of now, of the options of now, that everything is actually available right now. We just don't put our consciousness on it. We're always thinking about the past or thinking about the future in the present. So we're always here physically, but consciously we're always using this place to think that or that. And that's why a lot of times we don't master here, because we're not really all here. Right? Yeah, that's how it works. Right? I am. Not I will be, not I was, I am. That is my name unto all generations. Unto all time, I am. Because there's only now. In truth, humanity breaks it down, right? Humanity breaks it down. And that's okay. That's how humanity does everything. That's okay. But to understand the truth that, hey, things aren't tomorrow, they're not yesterday, they're now. They're all now. Because consciousness has to think in order for us to have a memory or in order to predict something. But you were using right now to do it. Everything takes right now. Now is the only time it can be. It's the only time we are. We're not has-beens and we're not will-be's. We are. I am. I am. Wonderful. All right. Any other questions before I let us go for the evening? I know it's getting late out there on the East Coast for sure. But thank you all for coming. It's always nice to, like I said, remodel, refill, refuel during the week, and keep on remembering who you are. The more you remember it, the more you'll see, the more you'll exercise all the powers, all the omnipotence, the omniscience, and the omnipresence of yourself. Your all knowingness, your all ability, and your all presence. It's not a matter of doing physically, it's a matter of doing here, choosing who you want to be, and you execute that physically. Your consciousness will guide your footsteps and direct your paths. It's not you that does the work, it's your awareness in you. So become aware of whatever outcome you want to see, and your awareness will use your physical body and the physical world to execute that, to show that to you. That's how everything is made. That's how everything is done. Once you understand that, things get easy because I am doesn't struggle. I am is omniscient. It knows everything. I am is omnipotent. It's all powerful. If it knows everything and it's all powerful, what would it struggle with? We only struggle when we're disconnected. When we start thinking ourselves as something else. That's all. So the goal is always to bring ourselves back. To remember, I am. That's what I am. I am. So you get up in the morning, you talk to yourself, I am. I'm consciousness. I am. And whatever I choose to consciously declare myself to be, that is what I'm going to experience in physical form. So actually, let me choose victory. Let me choose peace. Let me choose abundance. Let me choose joy. Let me choose success. Let me choose easy. Let me choose fun. All those things. And you'll see that in your world. It'll be reflected back to you because that's who you're being. Right? So wonderful. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for coming. Happy Tuesday. Tomorrow will be Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. I look forward to seeing you on Saturday. If I don't see you again this week, if I don't pop up again, I look forward to seeing you Saturday. I might show up Thursday. It's supposed to be raining, so I might show up Thursday. But I'll send out an email, so be on the lookout. If you get it, come through. Also, please feel free to invite anyone. And yes, this is really more, I would say, informal, even more informal than Saturdays. It's an opportunity for you just to come during the week, ask what you're thinking about, bring any questions, bring any people who have questions. Maybe I have to get on a different platform too at some point where we can talk. But for right now, while we're on this one, you just type it up, chat it up, and we'll get to everything and just have some good conversation like we always do. So wonderful. All right, everyone. Well, happy Tuesday. Remember who you are. Um, and there's victory only, victory always. Change your mind, change your life, choose your mind, and choose your life. Right? Faith is a decision. It's a choice, right? To believe whatever you tell yourself is true is true. So wonderful. Have a good evening, everyone. Good night, and we'll catch up later. Peace.